is great. He's had great movies, shows, and so much more. I mean, he's from the comics. Of course we've had great comics. It'd be weird to make movies and shows off someone who hasn't had good comics. Oh wait, Sony did that! But anyway, today we're ignoring all the great adaptations he had before him and exploring a new take on the Caped Crusader. My take? This is going to be the start of a new mini-series on my channel. I'm going to be pitching my ideas for a new Batman film trilogy, fan casting said films, and making trailers for the movies. It should be about 9 videos in total, but I might make a few extra trailers here and there if I enjoy making them because, well, hey, this is all for fun, it's my channel, and I can do whatever the hell I want, include delay the Ghibli video more. You guys are never getting the Ghibli video. So today, we're going to be casting the characters for this film. The first film in the trilogy, actually, Batman Knightfall. And a quick side note, this film was originally called The Batman, but then DC, went ahead and made a film called The Batman, so I don't know, I kind of just threw a title together. If any of you have a better idea for the title, leave it in the comments below. I'm not paid at all to do this, so whatever. Now, I'll be pitching the whole film in a later video that will probably come out in a few weeks, but who knows, I don't have a schedule for this. But I'm still going to give a quick rundown of the characters in this film, in this video. The ones we'll be looking at today are Ethan Bennett, Commissioner Gordon, Alfred Pennyworth, the Calculator, and of course, Batman himself. And while Red Hood, aka the Joker, does appear in this film, I'm going to keep his casting a secret until I pitch the sequel, but trust me, it's a pretty out there pick, but I think the actor I chose for the Joker is really good. But before we get casting, I should lay out a few rules. Mainly, I'm not allowing anyone who has previously played the character to come back for the roles, as that's just lazy. Except for one slight exception, which you'll see later in the video. And secondly, I'm going to try to stay away from actors who have already played other DC characters, but some actors I really imagine in these roles, so whatever, But without any further ado, let's get into the casting, shall we? Now, Ethan Bennett isn't exactly a well-known character in the DC universe, but all you need to know about him for this video is that he's a down-on-his-luck detective that works for Gordon. And I'm looking for an actor that can play distressed but also smart and is full of charisma. I'm basing this portrayal mainly off the Batman TV show because, well, that's where he comes from. Like Harley Quinn and Condiment King, Ethan Bennett is from the TV shows instead of the comics. And, well, he's actually Clayface in the show, and is more or less a stand-in for Two-Face, who the writers of the show weren't allowed to use. So I'm taking the element of a character going through a tragic fall and basing the film on it. He's actually the protagonist of the majority of this movie, and we're exploring Gotham through his eyes. So the lead actor would need to be able to capture that. The main reason I chose Ethan Bennett to lead the film instead of Batman is because I really want to see how other people view Batman. The closest thing we've had to that is The Dark Knight, and while that film really did delve into how the world sees Batman, I still think we can take it we can do it better. That's what I'm saying, we can do it better. And Ethan Bennett is the best character I can think to do that. So I need to think of an actor who can play a charming yet struggling character. And well, one actor who I really think embodies all of that, and I can definitely see as an Ethan Bennett, is Lakeith Stanfield. And I don't know if I mispronounced that name or not because I'm horrible at pronouncing stuff. You guys watch my videos, you know how bad I am. And honestly, Lakeith Stanfield is a good choice for the role. You guys probably know him for Knives Out or Get Out, but he's played a wide variety of different characters and definitely has the skills to be the lead of this movie. I really think he could play Ethan Bennett incredibly well, and he deserves a chance to be in the spotlight of a big feature film. Next up is everyone's favorite police chief, Commissioner Gordon. Now, for this incarnation, I wanted Gordon to be older, like in his 60s or 70s, someone who has seen it all and already knows the Batman. Someone who can play it rough and serious, but also has a lighter edge to him, and can be nice and warm when he needs to. So, who better to play the law-abiding officer than the drug kingpin himself, Bryan Cranston. Now, Bryan is best known for his role in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, Walter White. But he's actually done a wide range of characters, from the dad in Malcolm in the Middle to being in the Power Rangers reboot. Yeah, he was in that movie. However, there is a slight hiccup with him. He did voice Jim Gordon in the Batman animated Year One movie, but I'm gonna double cast here and only here because this would be a live action film, and I feel that's different enough as to where we can still see him stretch his acting skills. The main reason I'm casting Brian is because he can do a wide range, and I feel that's important for Gordon. He's a father and a friend foremost, and the films really haven't touched at that. Outside of a few scenes in the Dark Knight trilogy, the man barely has anything to do with his family, and he almost never interacts with anyone outside of work. We never see him just get coffee or relax. And I want to explore more of him, his life, and his family. Something Brian has shown he can do wonderfully. So Bryan Cranston is my Commissioner Gordon. Next, we're going to be casting Batman's faithful butler, Alfred Pennyworth. Alfred is more or less Bruce's father, and we need an actor who can play warming and nice to bounce off our Batman. We need an actor who can stay by Bruce's side, even when Bruce pushes him away. Alfred shouldn't be a pushover, however. He should be serious and stern, and stand by his values, even when that means going against what Bruce wants. So, I'm casting Peter Capaldi as my Alfred. Most of you know him from Doctor Who, and yeah, that's kind of what I want my Alfred to be like. Now, of course, Alfred isn't as manic or smart as the Doctor, but Peter Capaldi has shown he can play nice and caring in the role as Doctor Who, and he has also shown he's okay with being in big franchises with his role as the Tinkerer in the Suicide Squad. Now, of course, those are very different characters, and these would be very different movies, but I really think he could pull it off. Second to last is the Calculator, the main villain of this film. For him, I'm reinventing the character. Instead of a goofy one-note villain that he tends to be, I'm taking the same approach that has been taken with the Riddler in the Batman, and making him a serial killer. But unlike the Riddler, he's still gonna have his goofy costume. Come on, the purple spandex is pretty funny. You can't go wrong with purple spandex. For this version of the Calculator, I want an actor who can play evil, cunning, and a little bit insane. Someone who can be scary and someone who can easily choose scenery. I want this villain to be a standard of the film, like Joker in The Dark Knight. I want someone who will steal every scene he's in. So when looking at actors for this role, I wanted to pick someone who have provided great time and time again to all their roles. Someone who really would be looked at as an iconic symbol of the role, and could match the presence of Batman himself. Someone like Matt Smith. That's right, I'm casting Matt Smith as the Calculator. Yeah, he showed he can play a good villain in Morbius, cause let's face it, he was the only good part of that film. But he also showed that he can play smart with his performance as the Doctor. Yeah, I have two actors who have played the Doctor in this film, sue me. However, what really made me think of him for the role was his performance as Jack in Last Night in Soho. He was incredible in that film, being a superb villain that you can't help but hate. So, Matt Smith is my Calculator. And lastly, we have Vengeance. We have the Knight. We have Batman. He's a character that's been in so many movies, and each iteration of him is wildly different from the ones before him. From goofy and fun to dark and gritty, there's no limit on the way to adapt the Caped Crusader. So how do I want to adapt Batman? How do I want him to look? Well, I want to have a more friendly Batman, someone who is seen more as a hero and less as a vigilante. Not someone who is against the law, but instead someone who works side by side with Gordon. I want Batman to be more like his adaptation in the Batman TV show. Someone who is cool and smart, someone who can defeat his villains without having to risk casualties. But also equally as important is the Bruce Wayne side of things. But what will my version of Wayne look like? I want to see Wayne as the classic playboy. He's rich, sexy, and all the typical things associated with Bruce. But when he's alone, he should feel like he has a burden. He should feel alone. So I need an actor who can play friendly, someone who can play a flawed man, but still at the end of the day is a hero. And someone with charisma. And also someone who's hot. That's why I'm casting Wyatt Russell as my Batman. Not only does he look the part, but he has experience playing flawed characters, and that's obviously the most important thing to me. Obviously, he did fantastic as John Walker in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, being the standout of that show, but his other roles have shown him in depth and have shown his range as well. One of his most important, in my opinion, being his role in Black Mirror. There we see him get trapped and play a serious loner who gets trapped inside a video game and has to figure out what's real and what's not. It's a really good episode, I'd suggest checking that out. While he isn't a fan favorite for the role, he's a person that I think could do a great job taking up the mantle, and he could bring a good amount of charm to the character. Batman has always been heroic, and I think Wyatt Russell could do wonders if given the chance. So, that's my casting for Batman Knightfall. In the next video, I'll go over the plot and story for the film, as well as a more in-depth look at these characters. But I feel it's important to take a look at casting first, so you can have an understanding of how these characters will look. Now, I took a lot of inspiration for this fan casting and for the whole film, it's a trilogy actually, from the Batman TV show, so, I suggest you guys watch that out. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you like and subscribe. Have a nice day, and bye!